Hello, namaste, Sat Shri Akal, and greetings from LFI to all our beloved parents and students back home. I hope you're staying strong, fine, and healthy. I, Mr. Karan Ghebring from LFI, will be teaching mathematics for grade 8. Teaching has always been a two-way process. There is learning as well as teaching. So, as of today, it's quite a privilege and an opportunity for me to use this platform. For today, I will be emphasizing more on the chapter which I have selected for today is like expressions and formulae. I believe our students are quite familiar since grade 5. But yet, as we know that there are students who still have doubts. So I would love to give you a preview before we start with the topic. In order to begin with, I've written down here a few points which we shall try to explain and which we shall try to make it as simple as possible. So here, the first point I have written is an algebraic expression. Now, what is an algebraic expression? You must be wondering, some of you. Okay, let me tell you. Algebraic expression, it's a combination. It's a very important word that you should remember. It's a combination of variables and constant. Let me write it down for you. It's a combination of variables and constant. It's very important, you should remember that. An algebraic expression is a combination of variables and constants connected together by the fundamental operation of addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. To give you an example, a very simple example, 2x minus 1, 3x plus 5. It's a very simple example which I have given you. As you can see, it's a combination of variables and constant connected together by the fundamental operation. Here we have subtraction and here we have addition. Now, moving on to the next. What is a constant? What is a constant? A constant in an algebraic expression, a constant is represented by the numerical values. In an expression, the constant is represented by a fixed numerical values. You may use any number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It remains constant. Now moving on to the next, we have variables. So what actually is a variable? In an expression, we can see, as you can see here, we have variables. In an expression, a variable can be represented by any English alphabet, any English letter. In an expression, a variable can be represented by any English letter, maybe A, B, X, Y, Z. I hope you are clear with this tree. Now moving on to terms. Now before we move on to terms, let's first try to understand the concept of power. In order to make you understand the concept of power, let me take two terms. Say I'll be taking 7xy and say 15x squared y. Now, as we can see here, 7 and 15 are constants, whereas x and y are the variables. So, for an expression of 7xy, the power of x equals to 1. Power of y is equals to 1. For the term 15x squared y, you can see that the power of x is 2, and then the power of y is 1. I hope you are clear with that again. Once again, I have taken two terms here, that is 7xy and 15x squared y. Here I have shown you the power of x, it's 1, and then the power of y as 1. On the other hand, for the expression 15x squared y, the power of x is 2, and then the power of y is 1. Now, we shall go to understanding what term actually is. So what do you mean by term? Various algebraic expressions are separated. Various algebraic expressions are separated by the sign of addition and subtraction. Let me give you an example. Say like 3x squared y plus 2y minus 3. Here we have three terms. That is 1, 2, and 3. Here we have three terms. 1, 2, and 3. And they are separated by addition and subtraction. Whereas, once again, let me give you another example. Say like 15x cubed y plus 15xy plus say 6xy squared. Now, in this expression, we can see that there are two terms, that is 15x cubed y and 6xy squared. And both are separated by what sign? By the sign of addition. Now, as I have said, what are terms? Terms in an expression separates the terms. Various algebraic expressions are separated by the term, that is by the sign of addition and subtraction, which I have told you. Now there are two types of terms. There are two types of terms. One is like terms. The other one is unlike terms. Now what are like terms and unlike terms? What do you mean like terms? An expression that like terms are the terms with the same variables and same power. Same variables with same powers. What are unlike terms? Unlike terms are same or different variables and powers. In order to cite an example, let me give you a small example. Let's take an example here as 3xy and say 15xy. Now, we can see here both the terms has the same variable, that is x, y, and xy. That is, when we are trying to understand the terms, we look into the variables, not the constant. Here the constants are 3 and 15. We are not bothered about the constant, but we have to be very precise. We have to be very careful with the variables. Now, here we have the same variable 3xy and 3xy. Now, as I have explained you in the power of concept, which applies here now, power of x is equal to 1 in both the terms. The power of y equals to 1 in both the two terms. That means it fulfills both the condition. So these particular two terms, that is 3xy and 15xy, are known as like terms. Let's go to unlike terms. Let me give you a small example. Say 3x squared y and say 15xy squared. In the same way as we have seen, we are to look into the variables, not into the constant. The variables here are the same, that is xy and xy. Unlike terms, same or different variables and powers. Now, here the power of x is 2. Whereas on the other side, we can see that the power of x is 1. It does not satisfy the conditions of the same powers with the same variables and same powers. Therefore, these are known as unlike. They are known as unlike terms. I hope you are clear with that. Now, once again, let me explain you in a nutshell. Terms. What do you mean terms? Algebraic expressions are separated by the signs of addition and subtraction, and there are two types of terms, that is like terms and unlike terms. Now we shall move on to the next, that is our classification of algebraic expression. Classification of algebraic expression. Algebraic expressions can be classified as monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial. Now what do you mean by monomial? Mono, the first thing it hits our head. Mono means 1, bi means 2, tri means 3, quad means 4, 5 means penta, 6 means hexa, 7 means hepta, it goes on. So monomial. Now when we think about mono, as I've said, mono means 1. So what is a monomial? A monomial is an algebraic expression. Remember, it's an algebraic expression that has only one like terms. There is only one like terms. Say, for example, monomial that has only one term. Sorry, that is only one term. So example like 7x squared. It's a monomial. 3. It's also a monomial. 15 cube. 15x squared y is also a monomial. Now moving on to the next, binomial. What is a binomial? A binomial is also an expression which has two unlike terms. It's very important to stress on the point. A binomial is an expression which has two unlike terms. That is, it contains two unlike terms. Example. Very simple example which I can give you is like 2x plus 3. It has two terms, two unlike terms, and separated by the sign of addition. So we have two terms that makes it a binomial. Now what do you mean by trinomial? The same. A trinomial is an expression which contains, which has three unlike terms. Example as, a simple example which I can give you, say like 2x squared plus 3y plus 2. As we can see, there are three terms here. 1, 2 and 3, which makes it a trinomial. And you can see that all the three terms are unlike. Now, once again, let me give you a quick revision. Monomial means which has one term, which contains only one term. Example as 7x squared, 3, 15x squared y. Whereas in binomial, it has two unlike terms, that is 2x plus 3. Trinomial, which has three unlike terms, that is 2x squared plus 3y plus 2. Now, let's move on to polynomial. In order to make you understand polynomial, let me rub this off. Let's erase it. Now, in order to understand polynomial, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is also an algebraic expression. It's not an also, it's an algebraic expression which has one or more terms with a non-zero coefficient and a non-negative exponent. Now, you might be wondering what sir is saying, right? Yes or no? Let me make it very simple. Let's try to understand from here. The word polynomial, P-O-L-Y, poly, N-O-M-I-A-L, nomial. Poly, as you all know, poly means many. Like polygamy, where a husband can marry many wives, more than one wife, more than two wives. Poly means many. Nomial means parts or terms. So in simple way, polynomial means many terms. Now, as we can see, I have divided these two parts, that is poly means many and nomial means terms. Under polynomial, there are different types of an expression which has one term, an expression which has two terms, an expression which has three terms, an expression which has more number of terms, as I have explained it to you, one term, which I have explained to you earlier, one term means one, that is monomial, right? Two term means binomial. Three terms, trinomial. Let's wait here. All the terms, a polynomial can be one term, can be a two term, can be a three term, or more than three term. It all comes under the umbrella of polynomial. There is a misconception saying that a polynomial is an expression which has more than three terms. No, sadly that is incorrect. A polynomial may contain one term, a polynomial may contain two terms, a polynomial may contain three terms, a polynomial may contain more than three terms also. Monomial, as I've explained to you earlier, just to refresh in your mind a little bit, let me give you an example. Say like 2x, it's a monomial because it has only one term. Binomial, say 2x plus 1. Trinomial, 3x plus 2y plus 3. Trinomial. Example of a polynomial. Now, 3x squared plus 2y plus 2x plus 1. It's a polynomial. Or example, I can give you another example is 3x minus 7x to the power 5 plus 4x squared minus 11x cubed, or say any number that you remember, 11x cubed plus 13. It's also a polynomial. Now, I hope you are clear with it. Once again, polynomial means many terms, and any term and any expression can be a polynomial. It may be one term or two term or three term or more than three terms. Now, let's go on to the next one. Let's first try to understand everything. Let's first try to finish it off, and then we'll go and hit the chapters and the exercises. Now, standard form of a polynomial. As you might be wondering why, because when we understand everything, it becomes very easier for you also to solve the sums, and you are, it's in your fingertips. So what do you mean by a standard form of a polynomial? It's writing a polynomial in the decreasing power of the variable. It's writing a polynomial, let me Polynomil, polynomial in the decreasing power. Remember this, decreasing power of the variable, in the decreasing, D-E-C-R-E-A-S-I-N-G, decreasing power of what? Of the in the decreasing power of what? The variable. It's called the standard form of a polynomial. Example, like say, let me give you an example: 3x minus 7x to the power 5 plus maybe 15x cubed minus 4x squared plus 13. Now, how do you write this in the standard form of a polynomial? As I said, polynomial, the standard form, in order to write in the standard form of a polynomial, it's to start with the decreasing power of the variable. So here, the highest power, what is the highest power here? We have here, in order to write it, in order to write in the standard form, the highest power here we have 7x to the power 5. That is minus 7x to the power 5 followed by plus 15x cubed followed by minus 4x squared followed by plus 3x plus 13. It's a constant which remains at the last. I hope you are clear with the standard form of a polynomial. Now let's since if it's clear with you, once again, let's move on to the last that we have, the degree of a polynomial. Okay, what do you mean by degree of the polynomial? Degree of the polynomial means it is the highest power. It is the highest power. Once again, it is the highest, H-I-G-H-E-S, the highest power of the variable. Variable in what? In an expression. Say, let's take a few examples. Let's take an example, say 2x to the power 5 plus 3x cubed minus 7y to the power 7 plus 2y squared plus 2. So here, the highest degree, it is the highest power. That means the degree of a polynomial is the highest power of the variable in an expression. When we can see here, the power of x is 5 here, the power of x is 3 here, the power of y is 7, the power of y is 2 here. So what is the highest power that the variable has in this expression? It is 7, right? Once again, the degree of a polynomial means it is the highest power of the variable in an expression. Now, let's do one sum. Since I'm sure like maybe it must have taken some time, but I just wanted to clear everything before we hit the chapters. And so now, since we have done everything, since we have understood everything, now let's try to do one sum. Add, that is 16x squared y plus 5xy squared minus x squared, once again, 16x squared y plus 5xy squared minus x squared and 3x squared minus 5x squared y plus 11xy squared. Once again, add 16x squared y plus 5xy squared minus x squared and 3x squared minus 5x squared y plus 11xy squared. Now, see when add is given there, basically it becomes very easy when addition is given there. So let's begin with, since we have to add 16x squared y plus 5xy squared minus x squared, we are asked to add plus 3x squared y. Remember, when the quotient is subtract, then we have to put a bracket, because the other expression has to come on the bracket because the signs has to change. But whenever it's addition, you need not worry. You can just go with the flow. That is 3x squared minus 5x squared y plus 11xy squared. Now, what can we do? What shall we do first? Remember the like terms and the unlike terms? Let's bring all the like terms together. We have here 16x squared y. Is there any more like terms? Yes, look at the variables. You don't have to look at the constant. The constant are the numbers. We have to look at the variables. So the like terms here, 16x squared y. Yes, we have one more here. That is x squared y, x squared y. That means both are like terms. That means 16x squared y minus 5x squared y. Any more? Yes, we can see another one we have here is plus 5xy squared, and one more we can see it back here, that is plus 11xy squared. Right? Any doubts? And then we have another one we have here is minus x squared plus 3x squared. So once again, what I have done here is I have tried to bring all the like terms together. That is 16x squared y minus 5x squared y plus 5xy squared plus 11xy squared. minus x squared plus 3x squared, right? Let's try to solve it. Now what you have to do is, now forget about the variables. Now our focus is on the constant. 16 minus 5, we get 11x squared y. Right? Now, plus 5x squared y plus 11x was, I'm sorry, plus 5xy squared plus 11xy squared, we get plus 16xy squared. Now here we have nothing is here means it's 1 here. Now we have minus 1 and plus 3. Minus 1 plus 3. Which one is greater? Plus 3 is bigger. Minus 1 is smaller. Right? Since plus is bigger, so plus, and plus and minus, minus 3 minus 1 is 2. I get here as plus 2x squared. That's all for today, my dear students and our dear parents. Today I have taken the time just to explain the concept. Maybe I might have missed out a few, but as much as possible I have tried. In the next video, we shall go more into the exercises and we shall try to solve more subs. And have a good day, and God bless, and stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy.